Hey everyone, this is my Patreon-powered reaction to the 12th and final episode of Seiken no Blacksmith. And yeah, it's kind of crazy to think we're at the end of this journey of blacksmithing and magical talking demonic swords, some of which are evil, some of which look great. It's a crazy world, really. So yeah, let's get into this episode and see how we decide to end off this series. So, 3, 2, 1, play. It was a nice time. So it was a great time to be with you, Luke. I mean, I have the hat, so it's all great. Not at all. You're great, Lisa. Don't feel that way, please. I do agree on maybe you should have been given a different name, though. Maybe we could give you a nickname. Yeah, we can at least agree on that. That was a mistake. Those two just awkwardly blinking in the background. A second hat. I'm glad we could work that out. I mean, she was never going to leave Luke. I don't think anybody expected that. And now we have a problem. Oh god, is that a frog? Oh god, please kill it. At least he waited almost until the moment was over. Oh god, there's more of them. Oh, they look so disgusting. Not really frogs, but still... so gross. Yeah, who else would? And they're opening. Those things are just... No, no, those things are the worst. I don't want them anywhere near me. We need to kill them. Get a big old fire, throw them all on the fire, and watch them burn. Maybe pop some popcorn, get some marshmallows. If you can stomach eating them in the presence of those things. Which I probably couldn't. I miss you guys. I kinda miss you too. Never did get the Goron Ruby. Blacksmith. Okay. That's pretty clear. And we have our villain with his evil laugh at a high point. Why don't you tell us how you really feel? At least it's not as gross as the fish. But that probably doesn't make them feel any better. Oof. I hope you're including yourself in that. Being a villain. You can stab him now. I think we have to disagree on the quality of the scenery. Yeah, they have no chance against him. Oh, that didn't work. Well, something worked. Yeah, there's Luke. But the sword broke, though, that's a problem. Yeah, the town is burning, that's a pretty big problem. Because it's the last episode. That evil looking sword. Yeah, they had no idea who they were up against. They are definitely dead. Yeah, we're the heroes, we gotta help. And he's a problem, so we gotta stab him. Like, right through his chest. You know, blood will spurt out, it'll be great. Of his mouth, I mean. Blood coming out of the mouth. And being all like, Masaka, I cannot believe I've been defeated like this. You know, that kind of thing. And the protagonist will say, this happened because you didn't have friends. Oh no, what now? Is that a tornado? Or water? A water tornado? Well, somebody's fighting back. Wow. This guy's got guts. Taking on this thing about 10 times his size with twice the amount of heads. Guy's tough, for sure. I'll stab it in the eye, all 4 of them. They didn't do that, and now they're gonna regret it. Does anybody have any arrows? Perhaps a bow to go with it? Or a magic sword, that helps too. Oh, I couldn't tell if it hit it or not, but I think it did. At least grazed it. Nice to see you too. Yeah, that was definitely water. Oh, well, we killed it, at least, whatever that was. Water god dragon. It's dead now. You don't say. What, you can't just jump it? Maybe get a hook shot? Oh, right in the head. The left one. Going for the wings is smart too. Can't fly without that. Good thing they have Cecily here. I feel much more confident with her here. Which is a big change from episode 1. Oh no. It looks like a Digimon. I can't remember its name, but it was a drilling Digimon. It was in that one first Digimon game I played for the PlayStation. That really buggy game. I think you're a rotten one, so I hope you include yourself in the purification. Yeah, this is somebody who can't just blow away easily. You lack self-awareness. I'm starting to realize that about you. Wanna go, buddy? I got a sword too. Know how to use it. Oh, that is a really cool mid card. Oh, I like that a lot. Almost cut off some hair. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think his sword can shoot big energy blasts. My friends are here. The woman was a much better person than you, Siegfried. I don't think that shield offered too much protection there. Just don't get in front of it. Yeah, Luke's taking on Siegfried. You may need some backup. That was short-lived. The bad guy. Yeah. And she's aware of Siegfried. She has plenty of reason to want to stab him, too. Yeah, that... I don't know if I like your chances without Cecily helping you, but good luck, man. I was gonna drink some water, but I'm kind of out, really. You're in the opening too. Okay, I guess Cecily has somebody to deal with first. Yeah, they're probably pretty powerful. That did not do anything. We should blow harder. You think you're so slick, Siegfried, with your fancy flips. I mean, if you jump forward, you can probably get a pretty good momentum stab going, like with gravity helping you, you know? Although now he has a high ground, so now we're in trouble. That is... Yeah, I think we've seen that before. That sort of, yeah, bubbling, poison, corrosion kind of thing. Ugh. And that opponent has a range advantage, so that's a problem. And more reach. But you can't blow in, though. That's one thing we got on our side. Oof. Ooh, that was too close for comfort. There we go, finally a good shot. Yeah, how do you like my win now? It's gonna blow you away. Guess she wasn't that strong after all. Although we did have a close call, admittedly. 4-syllable words are hard. Oh, looks like Arya's done. Maybe difficult for us to back up Luke at this rate. It's okay. I mean, she was a rough opponent. But without you, I mean, it's... Really hope this is not Arya, like, dying or anything. Like... I really hope not. Because this kind of feels like a final goodbye. So I'm worried about that. Take care of yourself, Arya. There's a weird... Yeah, there's a weird glitch in the video. Yeah, I really don't like the look of that. Episode title drop. Well, they made it. That's a pretty classic technique, you know, the one person falls over. Hopefully, Siegfried. Oh no, the sword broke. Oh god, it got worse. I was really hoping it would be Siegfried. Oh, that looks really bad. A lot of animation there. Come on, Cecily, it's up to you now. Stab him. It's actually reminiscent of a previous episode, except now I actually have confidence in Cecily. Yeah, Knight does not abandon those behind her. I really don't like you keeping your eyes off of your opponent. It's just a flesh wound. It's not gonna stop him. Yeah, good thing he didn't stab you while you were looking away from him. Maybe he is kind after all. No. Okay, here we go. Haven't done this in a while. But now we're probably gonna make our best sword yet. We'll need to. I have faith in him. Although it's not gonna be easy. Yeah, I can't stop. Still got plenty of blood left. Is that the final step? I think it is. That is a fine looking blade, Luke. Let's see if we get the job done. Because if not, we might be in trouble. But man, it does look nice. Will Cecily be the one to have to use it? Yep. This is your chance to shine. He did his part as a blacksmith, and now you do your part as a knight. Finally, you finally made your own sword. And it's a nice one. Dreams do come true. Arya's still better, don't get me wrong, but a fine blade. Now you're in trouble. You're up against Cecily Campbell. I've also missed this. Are you scared yet, Siegfried? I don't think that's the reason why. It's like he's looking into a mirror. An amateur, have you not seen our progress over the course of this show? And she definitely has that. She has never wavered. I'll show you a katana doesn't have to glow for it to be powerful. Gotta get one good stab in. All the people that have come and gone. Here we go. If that thing breaks, it's a problem. Oh, wow. Right through his sword. That's what I'm talking about. Now through him. No, don't break. I mean, at least we did some damage, for sure. I was still hoping it lasted longer than that, though. Hopefully that's enough. Especially if that falls on him. But no, it didn't. Yeah, the freaking coward just ran off. Yeah, just screw that guy. He is just the worst in every possible way. It's a good thing we have healing magic. The sword did well enough. At least we stabbed him. I can be happy about that. Good work, sword. You can rest in peace now. Title drop. Yeah, there's probably some monsters running around. We should probably take care of that. Also, the town's still on fire, so I don't know what we can really do about that. Do we have fire extinguishers, fire hydrants, fire trucks? I don't think we have any of that. So, yeah, it's gonna be a lot of burnt damage. But we can rebuild. That's what matters. I do wish Siegfried would have died, though. And there's our wonderful knight, walking down the street, making sure people are safe. Always looking cute. Some fine tea. And there's our girls. Okay, whatever they were talking about was good news, so I'm happy. Elsa. Well, Arya didn't die, so that's good. I was worried about that. Hitotsu kawararenai ko no kokoro. And he's still alive, that's cool too. I was kind of worried about him as well. Feet off the table, Luke. That is really bad manners. Especially if we have company over. I love how close they're walking side by side. Just want to push his chair over to teach him a lesson about manners. Keep expecting boulders to roll down that mountain, but they never do. Very disappointing. But okay, that was the 12th and final episode of Seiken no Blacksmith. And, you know, we had a couple important things to do this episode. For one thing, we had to have our talk between Luke and Lisa, which we did, to work things out. Because there is some drama there, because, you know, Lisa kind of feels like a replacement for the other Lisa. You know, mostly compounded by the fact that she's literally named Lisa. So she feels like she's supposed to be a replacement as Lisa, but she kind of fails at being a replacement of Lisa because they have different personalities, and, you know, wondering if she thinks she's like a reminder of that. And we had a lot of those issues we had to work through, but we did, and it became pretty positive by the end of it, until the disgusting fish creatures just literally popped out of nowhere to kind of try to ruin the moment. But we took care of them, so we got the last laugh on that. But there was also a bunch of other monsters running around that we had to help with, and we also had Siegfried to be able to deal with. So that was pretty much everything we had to deal with. Well, also the fires, which were a bit of a problem. But yeah, Cicely was helping as best she can, you know, the local soldiers and stuff like that. Because we had like some some pretty nasty monsters to deal with demons. I mean, they're technically demons, right? So I really should call them that instead of monsters, but monsters is just kind of a general term. But anyway, we have this like two-headed one. There's one with this huge, nose horn thing, like a drill Digimon. So yeah, they were rough to deal with. Like I think one guy got just straight up stabbed with that thing, and that looked incredibly painful. But anyway, we did have Luke eventually find Siegfried and battled him, but he could not quite take him on. He put up a pretty good fight, but in the end took some pretty serious damage. But then he fulfilled his role as a blacksmith, which is to make the weapon. Because typically you don't really think of blacksmiths as being like, warriors, knights themselves. They make weapons or they make weapons for, well, I guess armor as well, but yeah, they make that stuff for the warriors and knights to be able to battle, right? And in that sense, he definitely fit that role because he put all of his heart and soul into making a wonderful blade, even though he was bleeding and it was a bit of a struggle to even make it. But the end product was very much satisfactory, and he handed it over to Cecily, who is the knight, who was with the unwavering heart, who was standing in front of him, protecting him, wants to protect the people, wants to vow to do all of that stuff, and she attacked him. They battled, and it actually went by fairly quickly. I mean, there was a lot more, posturing and stuff before that, but the battle itself, as short as it was pretty cool, especially because we just like broke through his blade, stabbed him, and I mean the sword broke unfortunately, but luckily we did stab him. Wasn't sure if that would be enough. Like I kind of thought he would just like pull out that broken piece and still fight, but apparently that was enough to at least dissuade him from continuing the battle. So once the smoke came over, he just like ran away. That freaking coward. All he was doing for the longest time was just standing there and just insulting the city and its people and all that. He was not a good guy. I did not like him. I'm glad we were able to stab him, but I just wish we, ended his existence completely. But, I guess that's too much to hope for in this case. But yeah, it definitely is great seeing Cecily, the progress she's made through the show. Because I remember back in the day in episode 1, she was just terrible. Like, it's almost hard to even imagine that anymore. Her just, like, being such a failure at combat and all that, having to be saved by Luke over and over again. But this episode was kind of the opposite. Luke got into a fight that he couldn't win. He was bleeding and in a lot of trouble, and Cecily was the one that came to save him, to save everyone. And that was really good for her, The progress she's made as a knight, as a person throughout the course of the show has been very impressive. And I'm glad we got to see that really showcased here in the final episode, because that was probably the most important thing to have in a final episode. So I'm glad to see that, for sure. Because there definitely was a time where I lacked faith in Cecily's ability to be a good knight. But she showed me, didn't she? I don't know if there's anything else to really say about the episode. I'm glad Ari didn't die. That's for sure. Because I would not have liked that. Oh yeah, we did have that battle with the blonde chick. She really ended up not being all that important. Like, she stands in that one shot in the opening with, Siegfried and his magic sword chick. But she really, yeah, I mean, she was clearly pretty tough. Like, Arya had to push herself to her limits to defeat her, right? But overall, she didn't impress me that much, really. But, I mean, she was just kind of bland in general. I mean, first of all, I thought that was a guy at first, really. But there really wasn't too much to her character, honestly. Probably one of the most boring characters in the show, I would say. I mean, no offense to her, but she just wasn't all that interesting at all. Definitely like the old dude, I don't remember his name, the important old dude with this big old weapon, like the ball and chain wrapping around the thing's head to bring it down. Like, take some balls to fight something that much bigger than you, when you have like no magic sword or anything even. So, props to that guy for sure. I'd like to get it like hitting the thing into one of its heads. And yeah, I definitely like that mid-card shot, because it's almost like perfect. It's got two blades crossing each other. It's got Luke on one side, Cecily on the other side, the Sacred Blacksmith title up top. Like, it just looks so good. That's almost like desktop wallpaper worthy good. Usually my desktop wallpapers are lean more towards cute girls wearing minimal clothing, but that's pretty good too. That is pretty good too. So that's all I got to say on the episode. I thought it was a decent conclusion for what's overall a pretty good show. As far as my thoughts on the show overall, I mean, I said a lot of it already in regards to Cecily, so I won't really repeat that. But yeah, just kind of an interesting world, with the whole demon contract and stuff like that. The magic swords, which are kind of like, demon swords, kind of extension of that whole magic demon contract concept. You know, the whole Lisa being like sort of like a demon, kind of like that thing's kind of complicated. I can't really summarize that too well, but that whole reveal was pretty interesting. Because, you know, that was kind of a thing back in the day, right, Lisa? I mean, we weren't sure if she was like a slave or what. Like, does this man even pay you? Does he force you to be there? You know, blink twice if you're in danger, you know, that kind of thing. But in the final episode, we acknowledge that she is there by her own will. She chooses to be there. Luke wants her there. They're happy together. It's all good. They work through their stuff. So that's good. And she does have a nice hat, which I think is the most important thing. And we had our, at some point in the show, we had our like 4 girls, right? Charlotte, I think her name was, the blonde girl with her 3 knights and her sort of weak tie to nobility. That whole thing. You know, I like that part of the show a lot too. You know, those characters grew on me pretty quick. You know, and they were like one of the first really good demonstrations of just how much progress Cecily had made as a warrior. You know, like 1v3 basically, or I think it was like 1v, like taking turns 1v1 in her, but still it was impressive because they were all magic sword wielders, and the fact that she put up as much of a fight as she did was great. You know, and they all became maids and joined the household, and we had a lot of fun bits. We even had like a bath scene, which was great because this is like a Blu-ray version that actually shows those chikubi, so you know that was quite good for sure in that sense. But yeah, just the bonding, the friendship developing there, finding them a better path in life. There was a lot of good stuff with that part, and I really did miss them when they left. So it's good that we saw in that kind of ending montage bit that they all seem to have, you know, found happiness. You know, they were smiling. Like, we couldn't actually hear what was being discussed, what really happened there exactly, but as long as they're happy, which they clearly seem to be, then I'm happy for them. Although it would be nice if we could visit them once in a while. And of course, Cecily and Arya, I love their relationship, right? I mean, they both are just really beautiful characters. Arya's outfit is just wonderful, and I always do appreciate Cecily's boob armor that she's got going on. So seeing these 2 girls together, you know, their bond was great. Like, I've commented on that one shot of the opening of them back to back a lot. Either opening or ED, one of the 2. But, you know, they just look great together. They work great together. And I always enjoyed them as a duo, as a combo, for sure. So I'm really happy about that aspect of the show, for sure. And also Luke's just, his special magical forging method that he does with Lisa's help, that always looked great. That never stopped being cool. That was always a really cool thing, for sure. I did expect Cecily's top to come off more than it did in the show. Like, I almost thought that may have been a running gag thing that they did like every other episode, but no, it was only a couple times. I kind of hope they do it at least one more time for the final episode, but I don't know, maybe they thought that would take away from the seriousness, the tension of it. But, you know, I would have been okay if that's how the battle ended, you know? Siegfried just left, and then after a sigh of relief, it just, like, falls off, but oh well. Oh well. Do you think that's everything I got to say on the episode, really? And I'm glad I finally watched the show, because that one GIF, that one scene where, you know, we see the katana like slice through another sword while it has kind of a close-up of Cecily's face. The GIF of that scene I've seen so many times from so long ago, like several years ago, you know, and I never watched the show. I never even knew what it was from, really. People just would post the GIF in kind of a silly context, like, because, you know, that just looked so unrealistic, you know. But, you know, actually getting to see the show that's from has a weird kind of satisfaction to it in itself, if that makes any sense at all, you know. Kind of like with Skull Rumble, where that one scene, because I'm currently reacting to Skull Rumble, if you're into that at all. But, because that show some of the clips in that show were used in something called AM via Hell. So some of those clips from a particular episode I remember seeing in that show, in that video. So it's actually seeing them in context was great, and I felt a similar thing with this, for sure. So I do think that's everything I had to say on it for real this time. I enjoyed my time with this show. I thought it was pretty great. I wasn't sure how good it would be after the first episode, really, but, you know, the more I watched it, the more I got into it, the more attached I got to the characters, you know. I had a pretty good time with it, I would say. I'm glad I watched it, and hopefully my reaction to it was at least somewhat entertaining. I'm definitely a much more, you know, passive, relaxed, chill, realistic kind of reaction style compared to a lot of other reaction channels, so, you know, not a lot of people really enjoy how I do things, so if you are one of them, I'm glad for that. And if this is the first thing you watched of mine, I have a lot of other reactions on the channel, so maybe you could check those out too if you feel so inclined to. and hopefully I can see you in one of those. So, until then. Thank you for watching, and a special thanks to Cnouki and Ryan for supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you consider clicking the like button and leaving a comment, because that's a great and easy way to let me know that people want more. If you want to do something big to help the channel, you can support me on Patreon and get nice benefits like early access to certain videos. See you next time. That was a wrong button, but yeah, goodbye for real this time.